5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry, I'm having a few technical problems at this end. I'm very bright. I feel like I should be on holiday somewhere. I don't know why it's going so bright at me. Welcome along. Were you there? Were you there? Are you going to be getting a T-shirt with "I was there when Daka scored"? At this rate, I don't know where we'll be playing. I don't know who will be playing, but I'm going to say let's give it 350 odd days and we'll get another goal. Steve is hoping that he doesn't score many more goals. If you haven't had your £20 off Steve yet, because he did promise that if Daka scored, he'd be giving out £20 Amazon vouchers. I've not received mine. Brad's not received his. I'll give you his email later. Get in contact with him. Something's gone wrong there. Got lost in the post, as I say. But look, we got a victory. 2 in a row. Is it the turnaround? Is it the start of the comeback? Or is it just a plaster over a broken leg? We'll find out. We're going to talk Leicester. Gentlemen, good evening. Elon Musk in the corner there. How are you doing?
So I just want to clarify, Chris, that what I meant by the £20 is that's to be shared between everybody. So you'll be getting your 0.0002 pence at some point, before Christmas.
We want our money back. We want our money back.
I'll take the money back. I'll keep it.
So how long have you worked for Temu?
Oh, wow. It's been 96 years and I'm feeling it a little bit. I am.
Well, don't do it on camera, please. It's one of those offers. Let's have a look and say hi to Brad. You've obviously not had your £20 yet either.
No. Imagine being in the Christmas spirit and you get fucking Scrooge over
Look, you'll get your 20 Zambian dollars at some point, all right?
Well, at least I get something, you know what I mean? That's fine. That's fine.
Well, I have had a message, Steve, from I think it's a Nigerian prince saying, "Where's this 20 quid?" But look, we're in a happy mood. Hi to Craig. Hi to Ronald, and hi to Blue Fox as well, who are in nice and early. Welcome along. Steve, you were there, and thank you very much for your post-match video. I put there, is it the start of a turnaround, 2 wins in 2, or is it literally a sticking plaster over open heart surgery?
In all honesty, we didn't play well again. But we did show a bit more of grit and determination. I'm conscious that whenever I jump on shows, I can be negative, but also on the fence at the same time, and that, if that makes sense. So look, we got to win, and that's good. But overall, the performance was still pretty poor, and we could have been 2 or 3 goals down before we even hit the ball in the back of the net. I will say that the fact that we only had 2 shots on target all game shows a significant weakness that we've highlighted for the last 12, 13, 14 games. So I would say it's a little bit of a sticking plaster. My guess is that tomorrow's game will be where we'll see if it works or not, because we can always sit back at home and defend, which I never quite liked, but away from home against a Southampton side that are in form, it could be a whitewash, or we could sneak a 1-0 win. There's no in-betweens with Leicester.
There's not. What's your view on that, Brad?
I think it's kind of like we are trying to hold a broken leg together with sticky tape and blue tack, but we are actually somehow seeing it slowly recover. It's ironic who we're playing next, because both teams before the week commencing the international break, there was a post. There was a few posts up. There was one on TikTok that said, "It's painful seeing your team be so bad each week," or something along that line. So it was a Southampton post. And this is obviously before they decided to axe Will Still, who's still unemployed. And we was also in that bracket of discussion, though, wasn't we? We hadn't pulled the trigger, but we were very close to, to giving him the option to jump before he was pushed, sort of thing. And I kind of commented saying, well, we're here with you, sort of thing. Leicester, Southampton, same boat. Since then, obviously Southampton made the managerial change. We stuck with ours. And both teams have, Southampton more convincingly, bearing in mind, but we've both had an upturn in form. This one, like Steve said, could be kind of the make or break, because if you beat Southampton on the Tuesday and then follow that on the Saturday against Bristol City, I believe it is.
Sheffield United.
I knew it was someone in red and white. I knew Bristol City is because we talked about and what's his name? Anthony, that was it. So all of a sudden that could steamroll into something. So we'll see. That'll be the telling thing.
Also, we were unlucky not to come away with the 3 points against Middlesbrough. So it could have been 3 games winning in a row, if it wasn't for the last minute goal for them. So yeah, I guess we are moving forward slowly, but it's a snail pace, and it's still quite hard to. It's like you're looking at a car crash and it's happening in slow motion. You want to look away, but you just can't, because it's going to be interesting.
That's very true. I mean, Steve, right at the weekend, we won. We beat Stoke. Southampton put 5 past Charlton. We are playing Southampton tomorrow away. Stoke are hosting Charlton tomorrow at home. And I asked the question on the post-match reaction after the match, and I was saying, which do you think was the more impressive win? I mean, Southampton were beating Charlton, a promoted side, came up by the playoffs. We were, beating a team at the end of the day that was sat in third, a top 3 team. They had been top for a couple of weeks as well. Which, like I say, out of the 2, which do you think was the more impressive?
So I was listening to this on the way back from the game. So I heard the conversation between yourself, Wayne, Tom, and who's Jim. The American? Jim, that was it, yeah. So for me, I think the most impressive, if you go off one half, it would be Southampton beating Charlton 5-1. They were 5-1 up at half time. So, that's quite impressive. Mainly because, okay, we beat an informed Stoke side, but we didn't really get out of first or second gear. If anything, we looked like we're in reverse a little bit, whereas Southampton, they were clinical. So I would say it's more impressive for Southampton to beat Charlton, because Charlton are still doing pretty well.
Brad, we're going to talk about him in a bit more detail later, but very quickly, just summarising, we got a goal. I mean, literally, Steve was there when it happened.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, all the memes finally can stop now. The flooded memes about him scoring and everything can happen. But I will say this. with Daka in the past, we've almost tried to figure out how he actually is a footballer and what he's actually doing on the pitch. We remember 2 seasons ago back in the Championship, he was absolutely turgent. He was hitting everything wide. If he hadn't gone on such a period of run of over 350 days without a goal, and we'd got him this season, we'd probably be looking at a player that we could see slowly integrating into life at Leicester, and the goals will come when he scores. I don't know if this will be like typical, he gets a bit of form on a purple patch and then he's gone in the summer sort of thing. But this could be the complete turnaround. Maybe Redemption FC is not dead as I thought it was. And, our best mate Booby came on as well, so he's not dead and buried yet. And, Daka's got a goal, Mavadidi's up and running. It was a feel-good game. And just quickly to go back to what you asked, Steve, I would argue our performance was better than Southampton's one for a lot of different reasons. I won't go into it.
Right, let's go. Come on, you and me. Come on, put them up. Put them up.
Oh my God, Anthony Joshua versus what's he called?
I'm not being Logan Paul.
No, you're Jake Paul. I'm Anthony Joshua.
Well, whatever. I'll be Tyson Fury who intervenes at the last minute. The reason I say that, though, is because we had to be dogged. We had to dig in deep. We had the trickier game. And I know Charlton have been doing okay this season, but they've started to derail, and they're expected to finish 18th or around about there. That is a good season for them. First season back in the Championship. They'll want to rebuild. They're coming up against a new manager bounce in Southampton. Look what that. Look. Even Rude was able to get some decent wins, and he's shite as a manager. We know that. Well, Brighton and a 2-2 draw with Brighton and West Ham.
That 2-2 draw with Brighton, Brad, that was a really decent win, wasn't it?
Oh, well, the West Ham game was. That's the last time.
We beat Spurs 2-1, so that's not too bad.
Oh, yeah, that was about 17
games. Wasn't that? Oh, no, that was him, wasn't it? Yes,
that was him. But my point is, that they had that new manager bounce that 9 times out of 10 you get anyway. And I know it was prolific winning 5-1, but we were expected to get battered. It was supposed to be the blip. Yeah, they beat Norwich, but they get battered. The 6 points is coming in. It's all going to be doom and gloom again. Leicester are going to be down in 14th. Way, hey. We dug in deep, and Stoke fans that were crying and giving it the whole, we battered them. Yes, we only had 2 shots on target. They only had 5. It wasn't like 2 versus 11 in terms of big chances. So I think we did really well.
But when you look at that, I get what you're saying. When you look at that, Steve, the worry is, let's say the impossible happens and we get promoted. We're going to get battered, aren't we, like a piece of cod at a chip shop?
Oh, yeah, but we're not going up. That's 100%. It's not going to happen because, A, we won't strengthen in January because we don't want to spend the money. And B, I think that would be worse than Derby's points if we get promoted with this team. Because, okay, we're going to have to spend money in the summer to replace the 4 or 5 players that will go out on free transfers. But yeah, no, I don't want to go up, Chris. That's a nightmare. I want to leave that in the box in the corner. I don't want to open that just yet. Pandora's promotion can stay right there.
It's funny when, like, Brad, I agree with Steve, and I said this right at the start of the season, and a lot of people going, yeah, we'll walk it again, and it'll be like under Enzo for a second time. And I was saying, if we don't go up, I will not be bothered because we will just come straight back down again. And we'll say, well, yeah, but it's good for the finances. But I don't want that.
No, I don't. And I think given the troubles we've had over the last 4 or 5 years with the finances, another season where you turn around and you're not getting, you can still attract decent players, because I think, not to sound like a Man U or a Liverpool fan, but because of our recent history, we still have that pull to kind of get a player in that's maybe wouldn't consider the Championship, but looks at Leicester and goes, well, yeah, they'll get back this year. I know they missed out last year, but I'd be happy to join that to get straight back in the Premier League. And also you look at the deals we've done with no spending. If we do that again next season, that will help keep our healthy balance going forward. And we can be done with this charges and PSR and all the rest of it, I'd be happy right now if you said you're going to finish 8th, 4 or 5 points off the playoffs, you go again next season, and the last of your remaining deadwood is out the door, and you can really refresh and keep adding to that youth prospect. And again, players like Jake Evans, Monga, Aluko, if he actually plays him, because we know Thomas is suspended, getting a whole extra season to develop and really spring on. And maybe we can actually have a bit of common sense when it comes to transfers next season.
We're obviously going to look, Steve, at the match in more detail. But look, if you could have picked 2 players to score our goals for confidence reasons, those would have been the 2 you would have picked, wouldn't they?
No, Luke Thomas and Begovic. They would have been my choices to score.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
No,
you annoying little runt, you. And can I just say, I was actually watching last week's show back, and you were absolutely ripping Luke Thomas apart. And he didn't have a
because he's terrible. He's terrible. No, he didn't have a good game at all. He had an average game, if at best. I mean, we'll get to the ratings because I have a specific issue with Luke Thomas because he's not playing tomorrow, and it's annoyed me more than it should do. But I'd say if you wanted any players to score on Saturday, it was going to be Mavididi and Daka because they need the confidence boost. And we've seen that with Mavididi that he's a confident player. If he goes on a run of form now, we all wouldn't be surprised. You know, I was worried that we'd seen the best of Mavididi 18 months ago when we were in the Championship last time, and now we're just seeing the average sort of winger that is hot and cold, but mostly cold than hot. But look, the proof is in the pudding when it comes to eating it, or whatever the saying is. If they can take that into tomorrow, and we put in a good performance, and they're effective, great. If they then move on to Saturday and we're effective, great. I don't want to give players too much praise of, they're going to turn it around, they're going to go on a run, because you just don't know. It could be 400 days and Daka won't be here until he scores next time. He's so hot and cold all the time. But I appreciate they scored. There were 2 very good goals. They were taken very well. Daka, I think it helped that he didn't have time to think about it, because we all know that he doesn't work properly when he thinks. And Mavididi, that was a fantastic finish on his left foot, which proves that he can use his left foot and he can take people on the outside. Why is he cutting inside all the time? Yeah.
Well, interesting point you've made there, Steve. And Brad, this was a point that was made in the post-match reaction. Did the goals go in because neither player really had time to think? Mavididi, first of all, was possibly looking to pass because he had 3 players around him. Nobody was there, and he thought, shit, I better do something. And let's be honest with you, 9 times out of 10, Daka's goal would have hit the goalkeeper and come back out again.
Funny you say that, because for once in your life, Chris, you've asked me a question and you're going to think you've asked the perfect person to answer it, because I watch the training and I watch the post-matches of the interviews, and he interviewed Steffi and Daka for obvious reasons. They usually take the obvious routes, like most people give man of the match to the goal scorer sort of thing. And both of them actually said it's something they do. Daka says, he does a lot of that in the 1v1 trainings they do, where he dinks it over them when they go to ground. Hey, shut up, El. Shut up. I'm only quoting Daka here. Don't shoot the messenger. He actually said in his interview, I do that a lot in the training, and the goalkeepers get annoyed at me for doing it, but now I've done it and scored a goal for us. They go, okay, you can do that more in training. And Steffi himself actually said, I actually was looking for a cross or a pass and I couldn't see it. And I thought, oh, sod it, I can't. Well, he didn't say sod it, but he said, oh, I can't get the cross in, so I'm going to shoot. And that's why I let rip. So obviously it's something that he's told to do in terms of, look for the pass over shooting in that area. But if it's not on, be brave and take it on. And it worked out perfectly. 97,000th time a charm for Daka, it seems, but apparently it's something he does a lot in training, and it winds Begovic up and Stolarczyk that he dinks it over them when they commit to a floor dive. So ironically, they actually did think about it because they knew to do it. So
I wonder if that is a negative point towards Marty then, in the fact that they're constantly looking for the pass rather than taking a shot, because it's been pointed out several times that our wingers seem a little less effective this season compared to where they were a couple of years ago. And that's because they're, Abdul takes his shot, he's cut inside and shoot from 35 yards 3 or 4 times a game, and it goes in, 2% of the time. But if they're told not to have shots and they're looking for that pass, it makes sense why we've not had that many shots, or we're not scoring that many goals, really. If that's the way they look, just give them the opportunity to be free with it. Be creative, do what you want, because that's what they're there for. That's what wingers are all known for, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like the mentality that Marty's got is, try and put that team effort in first, but if the option is there, take it yourself. Have the initiative, which is why he doesn't always shoot down Fatawu for having a shot. I think it really annoys him when the shot's taken and we're all sat here afterwards going, oh, fuck me, that chance in the 50th minute. Why was he shooting that? When, Vestergaard was up from a corner, he could have crossed it into Vestergaard and he shot for a crowd of bodies. I think that's where they've just started to maybe find the balance in. It's okay to shoot as long as I can not sort of justify it, but it's more a case of that it's better for me to shoot than try and cross it to 1 or 2 in the box when Stoke had 9 men in the box sort of situation, which is kind of what...
So I was looking at stats yesterday and talking with the BTG people about it, and Abdul's had 3.2 shots per game so far this season. He's the highest by 0.7, I think it is, total. So he's having his opportunities, but then if you go down the list, I think Harry Winks is 8 with 0.9. There aren't many that are taking more than 1 shot a game, and maybe we need a bit more initiative of just having a shot. If you're in that position, just shoot. We saw Skip try it. I mean, he almost hit the corner flag, but at least he tried the shot.
Don't let Skip have a redemption game as well. I can't do this. It's not good for my heart. But Steve, I mean, look at the picture. I mean, obviously it's edited a bit, but that picture at the bottom of that graphic there. I mean, the team looked genuinely happy for him. Not with the fact that it was a goal, but the fact that Daka had actually managed to put it in.
Well, I mean, yeah, they were probably more shocked than anything. Let's be honest, but I'm pretty sure I saw the reaction of Vestergaard, and he did sort of sprint over. So it shows that there is that togetherness in the squad themselves. Yeah. So fair play. He's gone nearly a full calendar year without scoring a goal. It must have been eating him up inside. And let's be honest, if they're all friends, they'd be ribbing him about it. That's for sure. So yeah, fair play. Look, he took it well. It was a good goal. I just hope he continues on a purple patch now going forward.
I did half expect Akinbaye celebration from Daka, but maybe he doesn't have to watch it from the 6-pack.
I think he was already booked at that point, wasn't he? So he probably would have got sent. That would have been peak Daka if he'd got sent off, taking his shirt off.
Yeah. What would have been how to celebrate?
Well, not then, Brad. I mean, is this the start? Is this Daka's redemption, or is it? And they always say one swallow doesn't make a spring.
Well, we will soon know by. I wouldn't say the next game, because Southampton's going to be really tough, and I agree with Steve. It could either be a very smash and grab Leicester win, kind of like this one feels for a lot of people, or it could be oh dear. And I'm still fearing the oh dear game, but I'd say the next 3 games, if he gets a goal. It could kickstart that confidence. Maybe it's what's going to happen. I'll tell you what, it was a goal for rare strikers scoring goals though this weekend, because on Sunday Tom Cannon scored a fucking goal. Do you remember him?
Yes.
The guy who Sheffield United fans hate, still do, finally scored a goal, and he missed a 1-on-1.
Because he missed a 1-on-1. Yeah,
he was the English Daka for Sheffield United that game.
I saw that. I did actually see that.
Bosses, Chris.
But typical Leicester, Steve, starts the second half. Bloody hell! I mean, what did we can only guess what Mark Robins said to his players, but whatever he said was working. I don't know what Marty would have said to the Leicester players, because they came out fighting, and we were like, shit, rabbits in headlights moment, wasn't it?
Oh, has he had that typical internet freeze?
I think he has. He did say it was around this time, didn't he?
Yeah.
Can I put the question to you then, please, Brad?
Can you repeat the question? Because I was trying to do something on my settings to get the camera up, and I was fully paying attention.
Half time, 2-0 up. Is my God, we were having that that moment when they were saying bye-bye, when they were saying, like, we need a second goal, like, no shit, Sherlock. But then the second half, literally from the get-go in the second half, we were like rabbits in headlights. I mean, they were just coming at us and we didn't know what to do. And, well, was it 48 minutes? He'd got one back. I thought this is going to be a long second half.
Yeah, and it really was a long second half. We'll get to the obvious rating systems at the end to say who really helped us win that match. But, excuse me. It was almost expected, though, wasn't it? You almost felt the nervous energy in the crowd, and probably you guys watching it. You may have not said it, but you may have been thinking, this Stoke team, they're not going to take this line down. We're not going to suddenly go and roll a third or 3 or 4 here. This is going to be a tough second half. And to be fair to Mark Robins and to Stoke, they proved why they're up and around the Borough and Coventry area and not down in the doldrums where they've been for the past few seasons, because they know how to keep fighting. I think we're the first team in a long time this season, Chris, to score more than one goal past Stoke. They had. I don't know if they still do. They might have, because Coventry have conceded a few whilst winning games, admittedly. But I think they've got the best defensive record in the Championship.
They said that, didn't they? Yeah.
They're very difficult to do. So it shows you how a manager handles it, because if Stoke come in 2-0 up at half-time, Chris, flip the script here for a bit, I don't know if Marty's got the mannerisms and the managerial nous to inspire an attempt at a comeback. I know Stoke, if we go, the result ends the same, but, Stoke 2, Leicester 1. I don't know if we even get that goal in that scenario. I think it ends 2-0 Stoke, maybe even 3-0 Stoke. And that kind of showed where it is. And a very dogged, nitty-gritty, defensive body is on the line performance, and a few fantastic saves by the 38-year-old Asmir Begovic, made sure we ended up coming away with that, with all 3 points. So it was a lot of credit to Stoke to put that pressure on us and almost give us that inevitability of what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah. For anybody who says I'm not being horrible to Brad and keeping him small, but we did have Steve with us, and we're hoping Steve will be coming back. Don't go.
I'm just checking the bank balance. He's not gone off to transfer that £20 into my account yet.
More likely the 0.001. And he's probably going to be in Bitcoin anyway, let's be honest with you, Steve. Look, that's the starting 11. Now, please explain football to me, Brad, because when we did this, the watch along, and we do the preview moments with Tom, we were pulling that team apart. What the bloody hell? I mean, the back four, I get. We're kind of struggling with the defenders. Is he here? Isn't he here?
He's trying. His name's here.
His name's there. We'll see if he comes in. Pay your bloody bills, Steve.
Come on, pay that broadband.
Yeah. Look, so we know the back four we were struggling with, and we pretty much knew that it was going to be Faze. It was going to be the Danish, superhero from the other night. # not Vestergaard. But Skip in at number 6. James playing at number 10. Daka, and at the time I was very anti-Daka because I'm thinking, look, you've got to stick with one of these strikers.
Yeah, the thing is, look, the back line was also messed up again because the injury to Ben Nelson and obviously Akoli, I believe was missing from this because of the injuries they picked up in Norwich. I don't know, Steve, if you know how long Nelson's out for, but I've heard it could be a while. I don't know if they've heard it.
No, he's back in training this week.
Oh, so it was just like a roll of the ankle then, was it?
Yeah. So Marty said on Thursday last week that he's back in training on the grass this week. So he'll be back in, I'd say, a couple of weeks at most.
Beauty. Right, but the thing is, Chris, you look at how our form's been and how unsteady we've been. Ironically, we've won a game under both formations, so you can't say the back line needs to go back to a back four because we won against Norwich with the back three. The midfield just needs that shore up, and whether we like it or not, right? We haven't got. I believe Lewis Page is still on international, so he's back.
He's back.
He's back now.
Evans is back as well. So.
Yeah, as per any internationals, they get a break to come back into it and rest before they're back into the mix.
Do they?
Yeah, they always get.
In fairness, I'm not arguing with you, but when you look at it, he's not played.
I know. It's one of them stupid things, but it's almost like it's written into their contract sometimes, whether they go away. Because this was a tournament football and not an international break. It was an international break, but you know what I mean. He was playing tournament. That word I can't say. Tournament football. So again, he might have gone straight back into training, and Marty said, "Okay, have a bit, take it easy, and we'll get you back into it properly." But with Aaron Ramsey's injury, which I assume is him out, I'm guessing.
New Year.
He's ready to play until the new year. So you've got to have a stellar ball winner and creator. And out of, you don't have Mavididi or Fatu there because they're wingers. I'm not putting Ayew there. He's too fucking old and slow. I'm not going to put Carranza there because he's shit. Daka's going to be the lone striker, so it has to be James. I get that that's not his natural role, but if we need to shore up,
the point I was making was you can't swap strikers every one game, every 2 games, and expect them to get any sort of form.
No, you can't. But you also have to play the occasion, and the preview I did for the Stoke fans that they sit deep. They wait for you to bring loads of balls and then they counter-attack you in numbers and droves and really push up high. We needed that pace to get him behind. And you look at when we pressed them for Daka's goal, Fatawu and Daka pressed them. I can't believe I'm saying this. Ollie Skip played a game-breaking move here. He played his part, won the ball high up because they were starting to press that high line, got caught out, Daka ran in. I don't think Ayew gets that ball. I don't think Carranza can get to that ball if they're on the pitch.
No, but Steve, I mean, look, you were there. You will have heard the team news or seen it on your phone. What was sort of was the murmurings? Because as I say, I don't understand this game of football. I've decided. I looked at that and when it was announced, and I was going apeshit. I was literally saying that if we lose with those players, that team, then we've got to consider his position. Because I understand what he's saying about putting James in that number 10 position, but you've also got to balance it out with what you're gaining by putting him in that number 10, I think is more. Sorry, he's not as good as, how can I word this? So you're losing more by taking him out of the number 6 role than by putting him in the number 10 role.
So I think we would have seen if there was no international break and this was a follow on from the Norwich game, you would have seen Bobby Cordova-Reid come in that cam position and Jordan James would have dropped back into the central midfield role over Oliver Skip. I think you're right, Chris. Jordan James is much better at being a box crashing midfielder than he is as a number 10 because he doesn't link the play nearly as well. And I noticed in the second half there was a bit where he sort of ran with the ball, lost it, and then got it back again because he was just showing some dogged determination. And he got the ball back, and we almost scored with the ball across the box. I think what my opinion when I saw this team sheet, the only thing I had an issue with Jordan James in the number 10. I would have preferred somebody else in that cam role and Oliver Skip taken out of the squad. But Skip didn't play awful. He wasn't great, but he didn't play awful. I think that was the team you'd expected because of the Nelson and Okoli injuries. So Wout Faes coming in makes sense. Yeah. Thomas, he's the only fullback we've got other than Aluko at the moment who hasn't made a professional start for the club as of yet. So Thomas was always going to come in, and Pereira, he's our captain and right back, so he was always going to play as well. Out of that entire side itself, the only person that I would have swapped out was Skip for D Cordova-Reid in that 10 position. JJ drops back, but I'll be honest, it was just one of those things where you're like, this is bare bones. We have quite a few injuries in key positions already, and this is the best we can do.
Do you think? Sorry, Chris. No, go on. It's your show. You go first. Oh, okay, thanks. Do you think, from what I know, I take over like it's mine. One thing I did notice, Steve, just to pop this question to you, because you obviously see it on a better scale than we do watching it on there. Did it not seem to feel like James was playing more of a deeper role, like almost 6.5 to a 10.5? Like, you know what I mean? Like he was sort of. He wasn't seemingly as advanced as he has been when he's tried to play that role. Do you maybe think that Marty kind of went, I want you to kind of be in between. I want you to be able to get back and help if they're getting behind, you know, to go in the middle of Skip and Winks, but I also want you to be able to quickly get forward and give us an extra body going forward instead of being always up in that high line.
Yeah, so I think defensively he did drop back into the. So we basically had 3 men in midfield at that point, sort of as a sort of line. So yeah, you're right, Brad. That I think he was slightly deeper than he usually is, and then we tried to use Patson as a target striker and lay the ball off. I mean, it didn't help that Daka fell over every time he got anywhere near the ball, other than when he scored his goal. But you know, it did sort of work in that sense where James could then push on. And also I noticed that Skip was slightly higher up as well. I think the reason he went with Skip is that he's more of a workhorse, isn't he? He's not great technically, but he'll run and run and run, or give the illusion of running anyway, because, you know, it's Oliver Skip. I only see the bald spot on the top of his head. I don't see what else he does. It was like Jesus was looking down on him, sort of like this light here, you know, on me. So, overall, I think, he was playing slightly deeper, but I think the biggest issue with the performance on Saturday is that we were at home and it felt like we were the away side. We were sitting deep way too much and we were allowing them to come onto us. I think they had more possession, more passes, I believe, as well. Oh, they might have not had more passes, but they'd have more possession and more shots. And there's only so many times you can do that as the home side, as a team that has spent whatever it is on wages and transfer fees before the crowd get a bit more restless.
Trying to think of what my question was before, and I think what I was going to ask you, Steve, I don't mind, obviously, you know, joining, you know, anytime, Brad, but do we now stick with Daka going forward? Yeah. Have we got to go with one striker and say, that's it? Because, look, I think if you're playing 2 up front, you're getting another player in Patson Daka, because he will draw players away with his runs, etc., etc. But we're not. I see him possibly more, like I say, as a support striker. But we're only playing 1 up front. Carranza, neither you nor me have been overly impressed, but in fairness, he's only had a few games. Do you start, and I'm saying maybe playing for the 60 minutes, week in, week out now with Patson Daka? You've got to give these players a chance, haven't you?
Well, yes, and I think you do play Daka because he presses well. You know, there was a couple of times where he almost got the ball on Saturday with the pressing in regards to the goalkeeper. He does the runs. The difference between Ayew and Daka, for those two, is as an example, because I think Carranza, unfortunately, he's just not up to it. I think he might go back in January. He just doesn't like he's going to do anything. So if you have just Ayew and Daka, the problem with Ayew is that he drops deep too much. So if you're winning and you need to bring a striker on to hold the ball up and draw fouls in, then Ayew's your man. But you can't play him from the start because there's just no focal point in the team. Whereas Daka, he makes those striker runs. Okay, sometimes the intelligence isn't really there and he's just running like a headless chicken, but it does give the defenders time to think about what they need to do. So, and he riled up the centre-backs on Saturday, which is a new thing for me. I didn't really notice it all that often before that, but he was getting in their ear. He was sort of had a couple of moments where he was sort of fighting with a defender, and that's what you need to see. You need somebody that's going to, be a bit of a prick, and I think he can be that.
Talking of which, Brad, that was too good. The door was open. I had to walk through there.
I got to give you that for you because that's pretty sharp, pretty quick. Oh yeah, all right.
I want to stick with Daka because, and I'm not saying the referee was shit. What I'm saying is the referee was shit because he got pulled down so many times. It was unreal, and there was, we did 91 minutes before a player on the Stoke side got a yellow card. We'd got 5 by then. I mean, but Daka was being pulled all over the place. And I think even Ricardo said at one point, and that might have been his card, he said, what's going on?
Yeah, but also he fell over so easily as well. There are times where, he looked like he was pulled down a little bit, but also there are times where he just fell over. And you're like, well, you're not going to get a free kick for that, mate. You can put your arms up in the sky as much as you like, but if you let the ball bounce off your knee and then you decide to fall over, that's on you, not the defender.
But do you not think he was still fouled a lot?
Yeah. I think if out of, I don't know how many times he got fouled, but if you say 10, I think maybe 2 or 3 of them were actual fouls and the rest were just him being too weak.
Right.
Sorry, Brad, carry on, Brad. You were going to talk. Sorry, and I jumped in.
Sorry, it's all right. I was just thinking, Chris, do you want to just change our names over so that the same name?
I can tell you look so similar, the pair of you.
I know.
Right, Brad. Let me come to you. Look, we're gonna have a look at the substitutions. We only made 4. I don't want to talk too much about Stoke, but for a team that was 2-1 down and was chasing the game, they only made 1 substitution. That was almost Ruud van Nistelrooy-esque, wasn't it, from Mark Robins?
Yeah, it was. And sometimes a manager gets caught in a lose-lose situation because if you made too many changes and then we'd have gone down to a friend and nicked the 3rd goal and killed it off, it'd have been told... He'd have been lambasted. Oh, you should have kept them going. We're having chances after you made them subs. You made too many subs, and it killed our momentum. Blah blah blah. And as it is, he made 1 change, and they didn't get that 2nd goal. And he didn't make enough changes. Some of them were knackered. They needed to come off. Blah, blah, blah. So he was in a lose-lose situation in that case. But it was a bit strange that he didn't make at least 1.
But Marty's 4 changes. Again, he was limited, Brad, as to what he could actually bring on because the bench wasn't particularly brilliant. I mean, we seem to sort of, Harold Shipman's taking, really doing a good job at the moment with our injured players. Soumaré for Skip, that was the first change on 72 minutes. I know, Tom was really, really happy with that. Don't know why he suddenly starts to love Soumaré, but again, do you think because Skip wasn't having, by his standards, he was having a good game? Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I think sometimes you just want fresh legs on. It's not necessarily that Skip was having a bad game. The fact that we saw Thomas come off. And Chowdhury come on, so we went a bit more defensive. So you're not going to suddenly take Skip off and go, right, now I'm going to go 2 strikers up front. So, he's not going to put Ayew or Carranza on with Daka and suddenly change it to an attacking thing. He's just trying to shore things up. This was the first time where you look at the 2 subs that went, Skip and Winks and go, you're on yellow cards. We're defending for our lives. that's if someone else is going to get a yellow card, I'd rather it be Dekova Reed or Thomas or Chowdhury, because it's a fresher card. We're not getting a second yellow suspension with the run of games coming in. So it's a bit of that as well that we're playing this part.
Steve, I mean, I'm looking at that.
Sorry, just really quickly, so I just unzipped my mouth so I could talk. Oliver Skip also pulled out.
Sorry, Steve, you can speak now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Skip pulled out of a challenge on the 70th minute, and I think they were like, "Oh, we should probably change that because if he puts in another tackle, he's going to get sent off." So it makes sense why he came off.
You're quite right, Steve. You do have to think about that. And with that referee, to me, there was a red card in a blue shirt, Steve, at some point if he hadn't made some of those changes.
Yeah, no, there was. Yeah, there were a couple of times where Thomas could have got the second yellow. There was Skip pulled out of a couple of challenges. Vestergaard, I think he was okay, but again, like it only takes one sort of clip, and then that's a red card. So it makes sense to freshen the legs and bring on a player that could take a yellow card for the team. My only worry is that Begovic got one. We don't want too many of them. He's our best goalkeeper at the moment.
Isn't he just?
He loves doing that, doesn't he? That's his second one he's got.
Well, he was trod on, in fairness, and they did say...
He's got massive hands, isn't he? He smacked that guy round the head.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't argue with him, but I've got to say though, Steve. I mean, that when you look at that, and they were said on the streams, they were saying that is old school football. You know, Stolarczyk would have gone down doing a pirouette and 3 turns, and but Begovic just went and slapped the guy in the face.
It's a dark art, isn't it? You know, we've been crying out for a long time that we should be better at the dark arts. We have one of the best shithouse players in Premier League history, and yet we were never very good at sort of time wasting. And if that can slowly creep in, because I quite like it when you're winning 2-1 and you can time waste a little bit, and Begovic did just that.
He did.
Also, is it crazy, right, that Asmir Begovic is younger than Kasper Schmeichel?
Yeah, wow.
Because I would have said before, but Kasper's 39 and Begovic is 38.
That is wild. Especially when you consider, you look at Kasper, he still looks like he's 33, 34.
Yeah. I know something, and I was like, wow, Begovic is like an old man, whereas Kasper looks quite young. But no, it's the other way around.
Guys, I'm just going to go and check my parcel. Talk to me, Steve, about Silko Thomas coming on and not Monga.
I just want to touch on that. I know you said Steve's name, but I'm joking, Steve.
Right, if you want to take this, you're more than welcome. I'm more than happy. I'll be honest, I get it. Why? Because Silko Thomas is more of a defensive winger, so he's got that pace and he'll track back, whereas Monga has a tendency to just get hold of the ball, take on a few people, but doesn't track back to help out the defense. So it makes sense as to why he brought on Silko instead of Monga. And also, let's not forget, Monga is only 16. The game management for him isn't as good as a Silko Thomas, who's been in the academy for three years now. You know, he's 21, 22. So yeah, I understand why they brought him on over Monga. I just hope that that's not the usual thing going forward. I would prefer Monga to start or play, more often. Yeah. But when you're defending a lead, it makes sense to bring on a defensive winger.
Can I just say, mine and Brad's cameras aren't in unison. We just have to turn on and off at the same time.
I was like, oh, bloody hell, it's just me looking by myself.
Yeah. And my parcel's come. Look at it. Hey. Managed to get it right. Hey. Right, yes. Okay. Look, a lot of those other substitutions, I think, were sort of just to take up time. Chowdhury 92 minutes and what have you. So I think he pretty much got it. He got it. He did well with his substitutions. Like I say, does this buy him a little bit? Well, I don't think it'll buy him time because I don't think he'll get sacked whatever happens because of the money. But you've got to be understanding of this position, haven't we, Brad?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it doesn't just buy him time. I think it also buys him a little bit of a reprieve with the fans because it was just slowly turning that little bit toxic colour in the stands and the forums and, you know, everything that's going on behind the scenes as well. He was kind of getting thrown in with the mixer as well. The last 3 results, Chris, I mean, after that Blackburn game, if I said to you, don't worry, Chris, we're going to get 7 points out of our next 6 games. You'd never ever be on this channel again, and you'd be ringing the mental institute to have dragged me in. So he's obviously got some of, reprieve back, and also by his, by the squad as well, because you're getting that feeling that maybe, you almost felt a bit of deja vu. Is he going to get the Steve Cooper treatment? Are we going to start seeing them being pratted with "We miss you, Enzo" signs, or "We miss you, Rude" signs, or whatever, like they did with?
I think anybody would miss Rude, would they?
I know, but you know what I mean. So I don't think it's no longer a stay of execution. I don't think you can get that sort of impressive on paper results against the teams we're playing against. All right, Norwich is a bit of a free hitter, you'd say, although we took our sweet ass time to win that one. But again, I kind of go on a 2 blockade basis, mentality. We've won on Saturday. If we win on Tuesday, that's 6 points out of 6, and then afterwards it'll be. Bristol City would have to make that 6 out of 6.
You remember that before we came on live, you messaged me, Brad, saying you've got to go at a certain time, and I said, well, make sure you keep your answers short.
Yeah, it turns out I can only request it, but not stick to the positive, so I'm sorry.
No, I mean, look, Steve, 2 wins, no loss in 3. With what, with what he's got to work with, I don't think that's a bad result. And when you look at the Norwich one, you could say we were kind of lucky to get that. Stoke, we were holding on for a lot of the second half. But then if we're getting 3 points out of those sort of games, when we do get some of the better players back, and if we can start turning some performances in, who knows?
Where are these better players you're talking about, Chris? Are they hiding?
They are.
Are the everyman going to deliver them for us? Because I can't find them at the moment.
No, he dropped them off at Coventry.
Bollocks! That's all we need. Them having a better team.
Yeah. No, but you know what I'm saying, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, you'd like to think that when we're back to full strength, we'd be pretty decent. But history so far this season has pointed out, even when we've got our strongest side out, we've not been great. There's that constant sort of joke where we sort of say, is that our best half or is that our worst half? And then the second half is usually worse than the first. So you're like, well, that was our good half and we were terrible. So, I think you've got to take the positives with the 3 points. And I just hope it builds some more confidence. But can I also just point out that Marty said today or yesterday or whatever, that the fans aren't helping, that every time they lose the ball, there's that audible, oh, fucking hell. And he understands that sort of if you're in the relegation zone or whatever, but not in November. And I get it as well, because every time we lose the ball, there is that audible sort of disgust from the fan base. And it puts a lot more pressure on the team.
Yeah, well, all right. It depends on how you lose the ball. I have got to say, when I was watching that at the weekend, what I said on the post-match, I think, or it might have been during the match, I can't remember, was that when my kids were playing football, I actually was a coach for one of their teams, and they could pass the ball better than these 11 that were on the pitch. The number of times, and I'm not saying that Stoke were any better than us, but the number of times we did the simple things of giving the ball away, and we only got away with it because then Stoke gave it back to us. When they can't do things like that, I'm sorry, Marty, shut the fuck up. I'm going to moan when that happens.
But to be fair, that it happened not so much when we gave the ball away in passing. When we got tackled, there was fans doing that sort of, So it was something that was a consistent thing over the weekend. And I said to you on the weekend that the fan itself was quite subdued. Even when we were 2-0 up, it was quite subdued. And I just think that celebrate, we're 2-0 up, be louder. But I think the King Power is at the point now where everyone's just a bit fed up still, and it just hasn't. We haven't injected any positivity.
Do you think, Brad, and it's a good point, like 2-0 up or 2-0 up and we're still kind of quiet because all the fans that are there are kind of saying, well, they're going to get 3. We're going to mess this up.
I could understand that, up until the turning point. And look, maybe we beat Southampton and the place gets a bit more cheery. But I have said this, and I know I've commented on one or two of Steve's posts about it when he was on about getting the place rocking for the game that's just gone against Stoke. And I said the fans shouldn't be geeing up for it. They should be rocking and going. That place should have been absolutely bouncing at the 45th minute mark. We were 2-0 up against Stoke City, who were having a blinding season. Not Stoke City last time out when we were here, we thumped them 5-0 and they were 18th, 19th. This is a Stoke City side that will come into the King Power going, yeah, you might beat Norwich, but we're going to smash you. Yeah, their fans are getting a little bit in touch. We had them rocked, and our fans kind of went,
yeah.
I don't like our home support this season. I think it's absolute dog water.
Well, the away support's not a lot better, is it? Let's be honest with you.
Our away fans, at least you can hear them. They outsang the fans.
Yeah, you don't want to hear them, though, what they're singing.
Yeah, there are times where you probably don't want to hear what they're chanting. But you're right.
Granted, but at least I just felt like, a couple of weeks back, we probably had our best half of football in terms of dominance against Wrexham, didn't we? Where we had like loads of chances, and the place was like this.
I kind of get it, because at 2-0 up, I'm like thinking, brilliant. This this could be we could end up maybe 3 or 4 here, and it's against a really good, top 3 Stoke side. And then the second half started, and it was like, Rorke's drift. They were just wave after wave, and they scored after 2 or 3 minutes in that second half, and you're thinking, here we go again. And suddenly, I'm on tenterhooks. I'm literally sat there waiting for the equaliser to go in.
Yeah, but maybe if the crowd are all cheering them on and they're feeling the energy and the positive.
Well, I mean, we won games during COVID.
Yeah, that's no pressure. You almost feel the reverse pressure when there's fans there.
Well, they shouldn't be. Not the money they're on. I'm sorry.
And I agree with you in that extent, Chris. But my point is, if you look at it from anywhere else, how would Coventry respond if when they're 2-0 up or playing Middlesbrough and they're winning, and their fans are like, oh, well, Middlesbrough probably just turn it around in the second half if they score. So let's not cheer. Let's not get excited. Let's not give them something.
I think Coventry, though, are in a lot stronger position than we are.
You'll be able to have as a professional footballer, and you're beating a team that is considerably higher than you in the league, and in terms of performances, who don't, take it on a paper, don't concede many goals, best defence in the league, and we're beating them 2-0. If we'd have done that any other season, we'd be going, hey, come on, lads, come on, Leicester, come on.
Go on, Steve, you give us your thoughts on it.
No, I agree. I think the atmosphere should have been better at the weekend, but I think the problem is, and Ray pointed it out clearly in the chat, and I agree to a higher extent as well, is that when the fan base has been smacked so much in the last 3 or 4 years, we've had no communication from the club until last week. We felt like we were second-rate citizens at times. The players haven't given anything back to the fans. I think that. And there's also that sort of trepidation where we do go 2-0 up, and we had a bet at halftime: do we come out and we beat these easily, or do we turn out and we struggle to a win, or do we lose? And the 4 people either side of me, the majority of them said we'll probably lose this game, because that's just how the mindset is for the fans at the moment. But I do also agree that.
The Leicestershire Live are reporting, the new era's starting. And when you're looking at Top sticking to his plans, and he's thinking, no, Top's turning up to a game. That should be the bare minimum of an owner. That shouldn't be cause for celebration. And I think that very much is, like you say, there's that, when you see in cartoons and you got somebody walking around and there's a cloud just over them and it's just raining on them. That's what I feel Leicester is at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And like, Brad, I do agree that we should be jumping up and celebrating winning 2-0, and the stadium should be bouncing a bit better than it has been. But I also understand that whenever we go 2-0 up, it's the worst scoreline in football. As soon as the halftime whistle went, and the second half whistle went, and we conceded within 2 minutes, that cloud just went, we're going to lose this. And we didn't. And the last 10 minutes, it was a lot louder. There were a lot of chants and a lot of sort of support towards the lads and roaring, and that's good. But I would like it to be more, because I tried to start a few chants in SK4. Nobody said anything,
No.
And I wonder if that's because the fan base is very happer clapper sort of. I take my little thermos and sit there and watch my football for 90 minutes, and I'll walk home and I'll watch Antiques Roadshow on repeat, that sort of thing.
And you wind your window down when you sat at traffic lights and scare women.
Well, that's different. I wasn't expecting there to be a Bonnie Blue comment and then also a sex noise whilst I was sat driving into. So I was in Lincoln, first traffic lights. I was like, okay, and he just started talking about Bonnie Blue, and I was like, okay, weird. Second traffic lights, there I am, sat there, my window open because it's quite warm. So I turned the window down and just hear and I'm like,
quite warm. It was pissing down with rain. And let me tell you, this is what I played because I was excited.
Yes! 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 Oh! 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 Oh, God. Oh. I'll have what she's having.
Yes, but the music is fine, but not many people are listening to the music there, Chris. They're listening to the yes! Oh, yes!
The best thing is that when I do it on the post-match, I've not been doing it much because we've not been winning, let's be honest with you. And I did it, and as I finished it, Jim from America goes, "Oh, Chris, our granddaughter wants to say hello." I'm like, oh, shit. Anyway, Leicester were effective, Steve, at were effective at creating goal-scoring opportunities from counter-attacks. We were strong at finishing. Our weaknesses were that we were aggressive, gave away a lot of free kicks around the box, which is coming up week after week after week, that one. And we were caught offside often. Featured long shots. 100% were we featuring long shots. We attacked down the left-hand side and favoured short passing. I think that kind of does sum us up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, because we still have that niggling ability of making a heavy pass or a loose pass, or we ironically don't put enough on the pass, and we're 40 yards out from our own goal, and we have to commit a foul to stop them breaking through and putting us in a 4-on-2 defensive situation. But realistically, that the aggressive part is purely because of the amount of yellow cards he dished out. He must have realised he hadn't sent Leicester any Christmas cards, so he wanted to make sure our players got some, because that was ridiculous. But the rest of it does pretty much show where we are. And it's a common theme. You want to say for the last 3 or 4 years with all the things that have been going on behind the scenes, well, Leicester have been the same for about 7 or 8 years or more. We predominantly attack down that left side. In fact, the last time we predominantly attacked down on the right, we had an Algerian playing there. And I'm not talking Rashid Gazelle either. I'm talking Riyad Mahrez was our right winger. So it is pretty much copy and paste for most of it for Leicester.
Steve, I know you're not a fan of this particular. I don't know why they call it momentum, but that's what it is. I mean, the bottom half of that looks like a toilet basin when you've had a bad night of a bad curry and got diarrhea and it's all dripping off. But that does show they were the dominant team, weren't they?
Oh yeah, 100%. Even when we scored, look, the first goal, like they were still on top from that point. Yeah. And we, as I've said, we were quite poor at the weekend. We had 2 shots that we scored the 2 goals from, and that's it. We don't really feel like I actually can't remember there being many opportunities where we actually had a shot in that game other than the 2 we scored. There was a moment where JJ put it across and Daka didn't get to it. But yeah, other than that, I can't remember anything from it.
Well, we're going to have a look at the where the shots were coming from in a bit. But very quickly, just to run through the stats here, and just to let you know, we are yellow here, Steve, because we're the home side with the BBC. And it looks very, very light on my screen. I think that's something happening with my colour thing on the computer.
Go into the light, Chris. Don't go into the light.
No. Our XG was 0.99. Theirs was 1.33. So we had 6 shots to their 11. 2 on target. They had 5. 3 off target at both times. Attempts out the box, we had 3, they had 4. I mean, they had more offsides than we did. But does that kind of sum up? It's not the fact that we were having shots and missing them. You know, we're not saying, oh, Daka's had loads of shots and not one of them's been on target. We're just not having shots.
Who are you coming to, me or Brad? Brad, you want this one?
I'll serve this back over the net. You can take this one, mate. Go on.
Yeah, we aren't having enough shots, and that's clear. It's been something that I've mentioned so many times because we never get into positions to have the shots. To be the home side and only have 6 shots is reminiscent of Rui van Nistelrooy last year. You know, there are a lot of similarities to how we are attacking wise, how poor we are attacking wise compared to this time last year. And look, you know, you're not going to win many games by only having 6 shots and 2 on target. You know, and a wonder shot from Steffi and a once in a blue moon scoring goal for Patson. But yeah, overall, you know, it is poor, and it has been a worry for a while. And I don't know how Marty addresses that without changing the system entirely.
Yeah. Well, you've done the attack, so let me throw the defence over to Brad. 10 tackles are there, 12, 60%. No, we won. Well, it was virtually the same. You know, I'm just looking for blocked shots. I've not got that on that one. Defensively, though, it is all last minute, isn't it? It's all sort of, like you say, throwing, you know, jumping in and trying to get the ball away. And sometimes you're thinking, how the bloody hell did we manage that? Did that not go in the net?
Yeah, you are, but sometimes you've got to win ugly. I'll always say it, Chris. All the fancy stats aside, the only one that matters is the scoreline. And you know, people might say, how did we win it? Or we didn't deserve to win it. Or to a degree, you could argue we were poor. We have to give a bit of respect to the opposition we were playing against. There's a reason they're challenging for the top 2. There's a reason they're in the eye line of Coventry. It's because they're very good at winning a game, getting themselves in front and not surrendering it. I don't know Stoke's entirety of their results, but top of the league and Leicester, by the graphic you showed a couple of graphics ago, Chris, are the only sides to get in front and stay in front against Stoke because it's been wins and draws all the way through. So, you know, a bit of credit to both sides. Leicester for being resolute, dogged and digging in and being clinical with their 2 chances. Some say it's not enough. I say it's clinical. And also, you know, yes, there's some marvellous saves in there by Begovic, but also restricting them in their right, because they've steamrolled teams with 13, 14 chances target. They only have 5. So...
yeah. Distribution there. 83% pass accuracy, Steve. I guess that's not bad. I don't think where that came from, because I thought some of our passing was awful. 73 backward passes, 128 forward, 37 long balls. One thing I like about Begovic, that sometimes he doesn't piss about. You know, if that ball's there and he's got, you know, hasn't got much choice, he just boots it upfield, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that's what you need. You need a goalkeeper that will relieve the pressure that easily. I mean, to be fair, there was a couple of times in that first half where we were playing out from the back and we almost got caught. Winks almost got caught a couple of times. And then they switched it to hitting it long, which, you know, okay, I understand why they pass it out from the back, because then you're in control of the ball from a goal kick. And if you hit it long, the chances are, I think the stats suggest that 60% of the time with a long ball out from a goal kick, it comes back towards your goal. So, you know, it makes sense as to why you were passing out from the back. But yeah, I'm glad that the team decided at some point just to lump it upfield.
At one point, I think it was this game, that Begovic booted it upfield and it went out, a la Schmeichel. But it gave us time to get back into position. They got the throw in, but then they had to come forward and we were back. So I do prefer that. Here's the goal. And I'm not, I know, get in there, Daka. Pipe said, "What a finish! The way he finished was so cool and precise. He displayed patience." Brad, did Lady Luck have a little bit of a thing? I mean, I know you were saying about him practicing it, but who was more surprised when that ball went in? Him or the fans?
Probably the fans, if you consider the fact that it's something he has been trying constantly. But it would have been close. Who was more surprised? I'll give you that one. There's always a bit of an error of fortune about something like that, because obviously the keeper, he has to preempt the keeper committing to the dive and not standing up tall, which is, when that's the only way he scores that goal. Because otherwise, Chris, you'd have heard more moans and grumbles, and he tried to dink it over Victor Johansson, and he just stood tall and went, "Thanks very much, mate," instead of leathering it in the bottom corner. So, yeah, a little bit of lady looking in that essence. But it obviously shows that Victor slacked on his homework, because had he known that, he might have known that Daka tries it a lot and would have stood up. So, fortune favoured the brave. And I'm happy for him, Chris, in that aspect, because he deserved it. Am I right in thinking that their goalkeeper's an ex-youth product of ours, or did I hear that wrong?
Yeah, we let him go he went to Plymouth, I think, on a free transfer. And he's been the best goalkeeper in the Championship for the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, irony, isn't it? But a bit fortunate, but hey, working on your trait, you're only eventually going to get better. It took him 353 days to get better at it, but he's finally took one of them away.
But I want to do spotlight. Last time we did, because it's been a few weeks, because somebody was on holiday, and it's it's been a while since all three of us have been in together. But we did a spotlight on Marty. I don't think Brad was in for that one, was he?
No, it was me that
being sarcastic. I wanted to put the spotlight on Bekovic. Steve, humble pie is very dry without a bit of custard or cream on it. And I feel like I've eaten a lot of humble pie after that game with my comments before. I can remember at the start of the season saying I wasn't happy with the 2 signings we made in the goalkeeper side if Bekovic was going to be the number 2. Because I didn't want... And my worry was, if Stolarczyk is out, if he's out for a couple of games, that's fine. If he's out for a long time, I wasn't sure whether Bekovic was the right person. The other guy, God knows if we'll ever see him, he could be another Edward, couldn't he? The other goalkeeper. I thought he had a really good game.
Yeah, he was outstanding. It was, it shows that when you can criticise him for the goal we considered against Middlesbrough, but I think the 2 defenders should have dealt with that. At Norwich, he was calm and collective. He wasn't really at fault for the goal, in my opinion. It should have been closed down a bit better, but he was making saves. He saved that 1-on-1 and kept the ball out of the net again. And then on the weekend, he made saves that I don't think. He's at 38 now. I'm 35. I couldn't get up to where that ball was at times. I think overall he's been a fantastic signing. And Chris, you're right. You did eat a lot of humble pie, and I appreciate you admitting that, because I remember you moaning to me about it. And I was sitting there going, well, he's only a backup goalkeeper. This other guy, he'll be okay. Look, proves that if you're experienced and you're younger than Kasper Schmeichel, you're a good goalkeeper, at this level. And he is a good goalkeeper. But more controversially, humble pie is best served with cold custard.
Thank you. I'll remember that. Brad, very quick question on this one then, because I know you're in the goalkeepers union, so I could not leave you out of this altogether. So he's had a couple of good games. Does Stolarczyk walk straight back into the squad once he's fit, or has he got to wait his time for Bekovic to come unstuck?
I don't think it's a case of him coming unstuck. I think Begovic is very aware that he's going to get a run in at him. He deserves a good couple of games into it, but Stolarczyk is the future number 1, and he's been given that reward. It almost be like, Okay, so Daniel Iverson stepped in for Casper when he was, in the last few years, having a good run of games. You're going to go, well, you filled me with confidence, but he shrunk. He's gone. He is number one. I'm sure Begovic knows that. What I did like about his performance, Chris, not just the fantastic save, and I'm going to keep mentioning that because I am part of the Goalkeepers Union, but it's almost like we had a back in my day moment from him, as if he goes, the way he performs, the way he handles himself in the box, the way he's commanding the area, it does feel like a goalkeeper goes, nah, none of this rubbish, I'm going to punch it out to the throw-in. I think he plays against Southampton, but I do think after that, Bristol City is when Jakub comes back in.
I've got to say, I'm looking at this and wondering, how does Talachi get back? No disrespect to him, but I don't think any player should just come back in. Has Steve disappeared, or is it just my eyes?
I think he's shrunk down from home. I'll be right back. We'll be away for a minute, is what he's putting in the thing.
Oh, I do. I'm on full screen. Right, well, here we go. Player ratings then. Let's have a look.
I'm going to say this now. I've heard Steve's copied Jordan's homework, so all his ratings will be whatever Jordan said. We'll just go with that until he gets back.
Not nice at all. I'm going to throw a few in here as well, just out of interest. I'm not going to do every one, but right. So we've got Steve, we've got Brad, we've got Jordan. And we've got me. Right, let's go then. Starting with the starting 11 is always a good place to start. And here he comes. Look at him. He's running back, trying to pretend he's fit.
I love how because of his background, he just looks like he ran and then ran away and then ran and ran away.
Yes. He looked like he was trying to catch Daka up.
So my wife's going for work and I had to have a chat with her really quickly. So
that's okay. No problem at all. Right, Bekovic, Steve. As you come back.
Apple in my mouth.
Brad, do you want to give Bekovic first?
Yeah, I will. For all the stick that's.
Sorry, Brad. Is that humble pie you're eating there, Steve?
No, it's a cracker. The worst time I literally put it in my mouth, you went, Steve, and I was like, bollocks, this is drier than a nun's arse.
I wouldn't know, but if you're the expert on nun's arses, mate, you go for it. Brad, go on. Let's give us your marks for your friend.
No, he came with some notable stick. There was a concern. Some old todger that doesn't know anything said something about him playing for us. He'd be a nightmare in goal. He was worried, but he proved me wrong. He showed his experience. He showed his strengths. I mean, you talk about a goalkeeper who scored, so he knows how to play football in all positions. By the sound of things, brilliant performance. This will be the highest I go for obvious reasons. It's a 9. He was fantastic.
Steve,
I've gone for an 8 for Begovic. I think he kept us in the game. He was, he did some shithousery at the end, which meant that he kept hold of the ball and he wasted a bit of time, which was good. He stood up to somebody standing on his foot. I don't know if he could do anything with the goal that we conceded, but overall, I think he was the best player on the pitch for us, so he gets an 8.
Well, I'm going to vote on this one because I'm going to agree with Brad, and I'm going to give him a 9.
Football friends.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah.
I just think he had an outstanding game, and I think if it had, like you say, I have to ask, would Jakub have got to some of those balls? I'm not so sure that he would have.
You've got something brown on the end of your nose. Oh, sorry, no, that's Brad. That's Brad on the end of your nose. Sorry.
Can I just say, Brad, I've got this, Brad. Don't worry. Jordan says he made an outstanding save one-on-one to deny Manhoof, only to lose his clean sheet moments later. He also did well to tip over Hyun Ho's victorious volley and punched away a few corners to help out his back line. A great showing.
Oh, friend, football friend.
He got 8.
I've got I left this noose here. Hang on, let me just. Yeah, no.
So you should. That's why I said, Brad, I've got this. Don't you worry.
Rating.
That's the other reason I went for 9 as well.
I had a funny feeling once
you can't do that. That's cheating, Chris. You're not allowed to deliberately go past. That's outrageous. That's more controversial than our PSR situation.
All right, here we go. I'm sorry, that's going to get clipped. That is going to get clipped.
He's using his facial expression, so you could tell it was coming. He went.
Yeah, I was just like, oh no.
Yes, yeah. I've got this. Don't worry, I've got this. Ricardo, Steve.
Oh, I think it was his worst game in Leicestershire. Overall, I think he was really poor. I'm going to give him a 5, which is average, to be fair, as a total performance. But I'm worried that he looks past it. He hasn't played well at all this season. And I said at the weekend that we should probably send him State to the retirement farm up north because I just don't think we can carry him at this point.
Brad?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's just because he didn't see a lot of the ball. The man's a walking yellow card and doesn't really do a lot for us. I didn't know he played half the time. I'm going to give him a 4.
Oof.
Very absent.
He only gets a 5 because we won. Everyone gets a slight +1 because of it. So
to be fair, you say that Tom would have given him a 10 for being bad for it. He gives losses 5. So
he lost the ball, says Jordan, twice in quick succession in the first half to give up 2 decent chances to Stoke, but was otherwise composed on the ball. Really, he looked more comfortable when coming centrally rather than when he received the ball out wide. Oh, wow, Steve.
Oh, friend, football friend.
5. Oh, Jordan.
Steve's just gone into eternal abyss of dark. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Steve, he's getting it up on his phone now so that he doesn't do it again. What phase? We knew he was going to come back in, didn't we?
Yeah, he was obviously going to come back in with the injuries that we had. Oh, was that? Sorry, you came to me first. I thought you were going to Brad. Okay, I'll carry on. Don't worry, Brad. I've got this, mate. You just sit there.
Where you are on the screen, I come to you first, Steve. Like I do every show.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, the show's priority. Sorry, Brad. I'm Chris's favourite. So,
No, sorry, you just steal in on me anyway, even when he says my name.
It's chance to line up the Football Friends video. That's all it is.
Look, there's a reason why I'm the hardest working man in Leicester content creation. All right, there's. Wildfast. I mean, there was a moment at the weekend where he was I think he was at fault for the goal. He was ball watching. I also feel like there was a moment where he had a 1-on-1. Is that and he was at fault for it? So he gets a 5. He was a very average performance by Wildfast.
Brad?
Yeah, for me, I wasn't too enamoured. I'm very happy to have it doubly confirmed that Ben Nelson is back on the training ground pitch, and the stretcher was just a precaution. Because I want him back in the team, him or Okoli back in that position. I feel a lot more secure with that. Having said that, I'm willing to join Steve on this if it does be the case. I've got to give him a 5 as well.
Right. I'm trying to type and it's not letting me here. Brad, if you've got to go, I know you've got to go around now, so just shout out. We'll manage without you. He mostly defended well, but especially made sure he was in the right place to clear crosses, but he made a real hash of reading play for Manhoff's excellent chance at the start of the second period. He gets, are you ready for this?
No.
6.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, it's broken the duck. It's broken. It's like when you break the seal when you're going out for a night's drinking. Right, guys. The Great Dane, the man who made such a difference to their World Cup hopes when he came on for Denmark. Steve, I'll come to you first. What are you going to give? What are you going to give the Big Dane?
I think he did okay at the weekend. He's one of those ones that is just a consistent sort of 6.5, 7 every game, and I can't give a half, which is the most annoying thing in the world in this. So I'm going to give him a 6. I think he was just consistent. He hasn't really put a foot wrong in most games.
Yeah, I am not bending that rule at all. Tom, I'm sorry, Tom. Brad.
Yeah, Tom, what are you saying? Yeah, I kind of have to agree. For a game where the perception was Stoke battered us, there were loads and loads of chances. I don't really remember either of our centre backs having to do some major defensive work, as in making like a couple of tackles in one instance, or Stoke having 5 or 6 attacks and one of them really clearing it up. It felt like we were able to break it up a bit. Granted, I was mainly having to listen to it than watch it because of work, but I'm gonna give him a 6, and I am just in the private chat, Chris. I'm just writing up a few of my predictions because I'm going to go after this one.
Yeah, after a slow start.
Steve's got hold of a pussy. Leave him alone. We've got an 18 rated. He's got a pussy in his hands.
She's been meowing at me for ages, so she's taken to sitting in front of my just down here whilst I'm on stream. So
I'll tell you what, though, Steve, down there's the best place to have a pussy, isn't it? Hey! After a slow start, he began to find his mark in possession with his passes through the lines, key to the periods where City gained control. Defensively, he wasn't perfect, looking a little laboured when pressing Mbamba, but he played his part late on.
Oh, friend, football friend.
6.
Oh, shit.
That was both of us, mate, I'm afraid. I've finally been had. I knew it was coming.
Yeah, Steve, your favourite.
Luke Thomas, the most bozo person, the worst yellow card to get. That means you're going to be out of a Tuesday game.
No, the best yellow card he gets because he gets to miss it. Come on, Steve.
True, but to get hold of the ball and after giving away a throw-in, to run back with it, to hold on to it for about 6 or 7 seconds, to then kick it to another defender going to get another ball. What did you expect, mate? You're going to get a yellow card because you're time wasting, you bloody idiot. So I didn't play bad. It was just the same old Luke Thomas. He's just a 5. He doesn't get any better than 5 for me every week.
I mean, a lot of clubs, a lot of players these days go to get the ball off the cone or whatever it is. Don't like that one, drop it down and wait for the original one to be thrown to them. So, yeah, it is a kind of thing that they all do. Brad, I'm getting your name right this time.
Yeah, I've just put that in there. Again, a bit like Ricardo, didn't know he was involved. He must be allergic to the attacking half of the pitch, because I never see the Fecker overlap. I never see him press on the runs. Never thought I'd say this too often, Chris, even though I do prefer him over Thomas. But I can't wait for Victor Christensen or Aluko to be playing there on Tuesday night, because I'm dreading him going Ricardo on the left and becoming full Ruud van Nistelrooy on us with that thing. But
it won't be VK because he's had surgery, so he's out until.
Is he? Yeah. Because I knew
Chowdhury, he can play on the left.
I mean, at this point, sure, why not? Why not? David Ofield could come back and play on the left. I'd take it. I don't care right now. He's one of he's one of our youth products I've wanted to really, really wanted to see him turn good, and we've, threw him under the bus a few times when he was forced into the team. But no, just give it up, Luke. You're just not our level of it. But yeah, my rest of my ratings are in the
brilliant, mate.
If I missed anybody,
in there, sorry, mate.
What was that? Luke Thomas, 4.
Well, let's have a look. What I think you've been very generous there, Brad. An up-and-down game from the left-back. He delivered plenty of positive passes down the line to Mavididi and a couple of dangerous crosses too. Was this a different game? But also gave up possession poorly at times. Defensively, he would be aggressive one moment and get stuck in, but then stand off Mainhoff and gave him too much space the next. He also picked up a suspension for a silly yellow card. Oh, dear.
Friend, football friend.
He got a 5.
4-1 on your big day out. 4-1 on your big day out.
Right,
I'm
Brad,
officially announcing my retirement from the show.
I'm going to leave you to play the second half. I don't need to come out. I've already lost this one. I'm happy for it.
All right, guys, mate. Thanks very much. I'll see
Brad.
you later in the week. Take care, buddy.
Take care.
Cheers. Right, let me just make you big.
Oh, hello.
I know. There's an offer you don't get every day, isn't it?
I do. My wife is quite nice.
There we go. Pop the Viagra in. Right. So up next, we've got Harry Winks.
Mr. Consistent, a bit like Vestergaard. I think he was all right. I'd give him a 6 out of 10. He did okay at the weekend.
Giving him a 6. Brad has given him a 6 as well. Bloody computers. How do I get rid of that? I've got MSN coming up in the middle of it. There we go. Winks. There we go. City look at the best when Winks is playing first time passes to get them moving about the pitch, it says here. And there was moments where he did that in the first half. He put in a few good tackles too, but he did go quiet in the second half. Oh, Steve.
Oh, friend, football friend.
6. Have you just given up and you just tried to outdo Jordan here?
No, we're giving up. I'm going to give them all 10s going forward.
Oliver Skip, mate.
It wasn't. I mean, it was one of his better games, but it's not difficult when the bar is so low. To have a good game for him is just being better than shit. I think he tracked back pretty well at times. He did put on the ball to Abdul, which was a decent ball. I think a 6 is fair for me for Skip.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not, because I know what's coming.
Well, no, Brad has also gone 6. So you're equal with Brad. He won't want to see that shot again, but while still not involved as much as you would hope of a midfielder, Skip had a decent game and played a superb pass to Fatawu in the build-up to the second goal. Mm-hmm. Oh, I really, really don't want to do this, you know.
You clearly do want to do it. I can tell by your face that you're desperate to do it, Chris.
I couldn't find it. That's what the problem was.
Friend, football friend.
Jordan, we're going for a record, aren't we? That's what it is. Jordan James.
7 for JJ. I think he's a bit Mr. Consistent, isn't he? He's somebody that you need to have in your squad, or even your starting 11, that is. You take him out and you lose a lot of intensity and passion. So I think he deserves his 7.
7. Brad's gone 5. He was not in the game in the first half, stumbling in possession a few times, but when the game became stretched in the second period, he came into his own, using his running power and stamina to provide an outlet. He was unfortunate to get an assist for Daka with his low cross. 6.
I don't think. I went. I gave him a 7, so I think I'm okay. I think he would.
You are no. You are. You don't get one that time. That's why I was like, oh, damn it. Have we just done James, haven't we? Oh, I didn't click on him. Abdul.
think it was his worst game in a Leicester shirt for a very long time. He was a bit ineffectual. There was a time where he cut inside to try a shot and he got blocked and he didn't try it again for the rest of the game. I know he got an assist, but overall, I think he was just really poor. I'm giving him a 4.
Giving him a 4. Brad's giving him a 5. A very quiet match by his standards. He did not threaten out wide at all, barely getting into possession, never mind past Creswell. But he still delivered when it matters, making the right run and then putting the right weight on the pass for Daka's goal. He got a 5, so you're safe again.
Oh, how is Brad doing against him now?
If you want to know the up-to-date scores, Brad has got 3. And you have got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Surely Brad's got more than he's got more than 3. Surely.
No, he's got 3.
Oh no.
3 agrees. Okay. You are voting now tactically rather than what you think.
Clearly. Yeah.
Definitely. Right, after Abdul, Mavadidi. I mean, just to go back very, very quickly to Abdul, was that because we didn't use that side as much? We did seem to come down that left-hand side more, didn't we?
We did. I just think that he's trying his hardest every game, and I think if he thinks that if he doesn't try hard enough, then nothing will happen. So I think he's overcomplicating things all the time. And just at the weekend, he just didn't take on his player as well. He didn't pass the ball all that. His crossing wasn't great either. I think overall he just had a poor game. Yeah.
So Mavadidi, sorry.
7 for Mavadidi. I think he played pretty well. He was he took his goal well. There was moments where he was sort of cutting inside and taking on players. At one point we gave the ball out to him and he took it past 3 players and then got fouled. So he sort of took the pressure off the defense. So yeah, 7 for me.
7. You agree with Brad on 7. City star man. We'll see where this is going. He looked up for it from the moment he first received the ball, and that clear-minded attacking intent helped him score the brilliant opener. His skill, awareness and positivity also helped City get out of some tricky situations in the second half. Gets an 8 from Jordan. Daka.
He gets a 6 from me, Daka. I know he took his goal well, but he was a bit weak quite a lot of the time. The ball came up to him and he sort of pinged off him, or he didn't hold it up very well. He made the runs, but look, I just hope that the goal gives him some more confidence. But overall, I think he was still pretty poor.
Brad gave him a 7.
Okay.
What a relief. After nearly a year's wait, Daka has his goal, and he took it excellently. You would not expect such composure of a striker in such a drought in that scenario. As always, he ran his socks off too. You'll be relieved to know he got a 7.
Screw you, Brad.
He's still not caught you up. Right, we're not going to do football friends now because there's not much to do on the substitutes. Samare, when he came on,
5. He was middle of the park, wasn't he? I didn't see anything that he did wrong, but he also didn't pull up any trees.
Yeah, and he got a 4 off Jordan. Brought on to strengthen the midfield. It didn't feel like that really happened. He wasn't bad, but he didn't make a positive impact. All the other, I don't think we can rate the other ones because they weren't really on long enough, were they? And Jordan, in fairness, hasn't even written Hamza down. So poor Hamza did actually come on. Marty, did he get it right? Did he get it wrong?
I gave him a 6 at the weekend, didn't I? I think he was his starting 11 was the best that he could probably have picked out the players that came back from international break. His tactics are still a bit questionable, especially when you're sitting back at home when you're meant to be the attacking side. He made 1 sub in the 60th minute,
70th minute, yeah,
70th minute. Then he held on until the 82nd or so. I think he needs to use his subs a bit quicker if to have an impact, because we were clearly sitting back and trying to defend, and a lot of players looked out on their arse a little bit. So, yeah, a 6 is fair. He got the win. Otherwise, if you take away the win, he'd have got a 5.
Yeah. No, I'll give it on this one, and I agree with you totally on a 6 as well. Who was your man of the match, sir?
I gave it to Begovic. He kept it in the game. He made several good saves. He deserves it over everyone else.
To be honest with you, so did I. I gave it to Begovic as well. I think looking at his score, so did Brad. Post-match, Tom and Jim went that way as well. Please don't go mad. Wayne gave it to Thomas.
Yeah, I remember I heard that on the way, and my response was, Thomas, are you nuts? But hey, Wayne can have his opinions. He gave it to Thomas for some reason, but hey, that's okay.
Yeah. No, I've got you down as Begovic here, of course. Alan, he was at the same match as you, allegedly. He gave it to Vestergaard.
Okay.
I didn't see that, to be honest with you.
No, but okay.
Yeah. We'll leave that at that. And you gave, for the team rating, you gave them a 6.
It was a poor game. I would have given it a 5, but we won, so he gets an extra. No, it was a 4. But I gave it an extra 1 point for the win and an extra point for Daka scoring. So he gets a 6 from me.
You have to double it when Daka scores, don't you? I went
12.
I went 7 because I agree with you. We won, and that does get the extra point. Apart from that, I don't think they were absolutely brilliant. But you agree with Alan, and you don't get a football friends for that, so you save. And finally, well, look, here it is, the table. We move up 2 positions. I mean, look, again, and I'm probably going to ask this every week. I've asked it before. 24 points after 10 games, won more than we've lost, scored more than we've conceded. Would you have taken that at the start of the season, knowing, what was likely to be coming up?
I think if you had converted the Middlesbrough game, the Wrexham game, and maybe one of the other sort of Portsmouth games into 3 points when we were in the lead, we would be right up there with sort of second or third place. Though we haven't played well at all this season. I can't think of a 90 minutes performance where we can say, that was outstanding. So if you'd asked me at the beginning of the season, I'd say, well, that's not great. But you ask me now after how we're playing, we're still in touching distance of the playoffs. And okay, we've still got the points deduction to come, but we're not so far behind if we get a 6-point deduction that we can't make it up in the second part of the season. So I think I'm okay with where we are.
Yeah. Tom still doesn't think we're going to get a points deduction. He wants us to fight it and try and get out of it. I just don't see the point in that, to be honest with you, because I think they'll come back at some point. I was told by what I thought was a reliable source that it was going to be 9 points. Apparently,
it could be. I said this on Jack's channel yesterday because somebody asked me on the Southampton side, what about the points deduction? And I said the guy on TalkSport said it was 6 points before any mitigation or anything else because of the deduction for PSR, the breach sort of thing. So based on Forest and Everton's deductions. But the other 2 charges, which are the ones that we need to look out for more so than the breach itself, is the failing to comply with the EFL and the Premier League, and also the other one being the late submission of accounts. Those 2 could be a points deduction, it could be a fine, a heavy fine, or it could be a transfer embargo. So whilst we could get 6 points straight off the bat, come the end of the hearings, it could end up being 9 points with the other bits involved, or we could get a fine for one and a transfer embargo till the summer for the next one. So,
I mean, for me, a fine. Look, we've not exactly got a poor owner, have we? So a fine wouldn't worry too much. Transfer embargo, would we really be spending anything in January anyway?
Well, that's it. And also, I think the biggest thing is that whilst we're fighting this one, which is going to piss people off even more, if we haven't passed PSR for last season's accounts, we could still see a points deduction in the new year, come sort of April time. So, you know, I don't think we're out of the woods just yet. If we get 6 points, it could turn out to be 12, depending on the loss next year.
I don't know if will it be that high, because we've not actually gone out of business, have we?
No, well, it's separate though, isn't it? So it'll be say 6 points this year for the previous accounts for what we're fighting. Bear in mind that if it was into April when it was last season's accounts, which is what we'd be hit for, it's a separate points deduction entirely. So you could still get 12 points, but it's 6 each sort of thing rather than 12 total.
Yeah. I mean, are we actually fighting? Look, you know, and very quickly, because we're coming to an end now, but when we're going to go and we've got this hearing. So this hearing, we've got to go and put our point of view across. That's only fair. Are we actually going to be fighting it, or are we just going, down to go, look, guys, we just want to put our case over. Yes, we've got Nick DeMarco with us, but that's just to pick up on any, sore points or anything.
It sounds like we're going to fight it. If you read the John Percy article over the weekend, it sounds like we are going to fight it. So, if that is the case, and if we somehow pull a rabbit out of the hat again, and we don't get a points deduction or a fine or an embargo, fair play, but it just means that they're going to keep coming back harder and harder, and they're going to try and find something. So I just think you shake hands on the 6 points and accept the fine if you get one of the transfer embargo. Just move on from it. Yeah, and at the end of the day, we have made a real effort in the summer to clear big wage earners. We got anything between 50 and 80 million, depending which story you read, going out, and we spent nothing coming in. So that's got to sort of work in our favour. But look, they want to get us. I'm fed up with it every fucking year, to be honest with you. Well, it's every week, isn't it? We talk about it every single week, and it's like, I'm sick of talking about PSR and accounting periods. I want to talk about how shit we are.
yeah, exactly. Steve, thank you very much, young man. I appreciate you coming on. You're not going. Oh, you are going to Southampton, aren't you?
I am quite lucky though that I've got some work to do on the way down. So I've managed to get it where work will pay for my hotel and my food tomorrow. And then so I'll be there. You'll get a full-time video sent across to you, but I'm only a 10-minute walk from the stadium. So whilst everyone else is driving home and getting upset because we've lost, I'll be in my bed watching you guys on YouTube.
Enjoy. Well, hopefully you're going to be opening the minibar as well, because hopefully we'll be celebrating 3 points.
He's hoping.
Brilliant, mate. You free on Wednesday for one of these on Southampton?
Possibly. It depends on what time I get back, because I've got some work to do, and I think to be fair, Wednesday is my usual day with the wife, so I'll see. Even if it's for an hour, I can jump on for an hour or so. That'll be fine.
It probably won't be till 9 anyway. So, but we'll see how it goes. Steve, thank you very much, mate. Take care. No Speak to you soon.
See you soon.
Cheers. Bye. There we go. Thanks to Steve, and thanks to all of you guys. We'll be back at 9:00 with the championship review. I need to go about and have a little wiggle of my knobs, because there's things going totally wrong here. StreamYard. I don't know what's happening. But thanks very much, everybody. We'll see you at 9. Thanks to Steve. Thanks to Brad for earlier. Remember, share, like, and do all that preview as well. And we'll see you in a bit. Take care, everybody, and thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.